Hello, teachers. This is the instructional guide for Primary 3, Term 1, Week 9. For this week, there are 3 topics. We're going to begin with division by 6, right? 6 division, and then we'll move on to multiplication by 7 and division by 7. So at the start of the class, while they are getting ready or while they are doing corrections, you can quickly check if they have memorized the 6 times table. All right. So you can either do it like a mini competition, no need to be too formal, or just simply testing a student one by one randomly, right? What the 6 times table, right? Do not add too much pressure on them. Some of them may not memorize as well, right? If they don't, encourage them to continue doing it at home, practice at home, because this will serve as a trigger for the topic on division by 6. So what we do at the start is to get them to understand. Right, just move on to page 2 and get to understand what division is about. So for example, if there are 12 sweets and you divide them into 6 equal groups, what it means is that you put these 12 sweets equally, right, into 6 boxes or 6 groups, right? That's 12 divided by 6. Okay, visually, you'll be able to see that if you take 12 and divide it into 6 groups, each group will have 2. Now, if we don't draw it out, right, how do we make use of 6 times table? Well, if they remember 6 times 2 equals 12, right, then they should know that, or you have to connect them, right, then that 12 divided by 6 equals to 2. It's like a fact family, multiplication fact family. Okay, 12 divided by 6 equals 2. And then you can run a few more with them. What about 24 divided by 6? Right? If they cannot, if they are not able to answer immediately, tell them, well, what multiplied by 6 will give you 24. So remember, if they have memorized their times table, right, then they will be able to do this quickly. Oh, 4 times 6 equals 24. So yeah, so 24 divided by 6 equals 4. Okay. All right. So just a very quick one. We don't want to spend too much time on these questions here. Okay. So guided practice, you may get them to quickly do this. 1A, 1B, right? 1C, 1D, so that they understand, visually how it works. But remember, we are still using, it's still based on the multiplication fact family. For question 3, right? Please do together with them. Sorry, let me circle this guided practice first. For question 3, right? Please take them through, right? So this is a multiplication, this is division word problem. Either puts 24 books equally into 6 shelves. How many books are there on each shelf? So without the prompting, students sometimes may be tempted to write multiply. Okay, so get them to think about the word. As when they see the word equally, right? Either puts 24 books equally into 612. That's division. Multiplication will not have equally in that sense. All right. And then the question, how many books are there on each shelf? Multiplication is an altogether thing. All right. So for example, recap. There are 2 books on 1 shelf, right? There are 6 shelves. How many books are there? So 6 times 2, 12 altogether, right? Altogether. Whereas for division, it's asking for 1 box. What's the value? What's the number of items in 1 box, right? Or 1 group, in this case, shelf, right? So emphasize on that so that they can recognize the difference between multiplication and division word problems. Okay, so after that, I would skip, all the way to to page 12, right? So you can pick a few questions for them to do. Just randomly ask them as well, so this can be a quiz as well. They don't need to write that, all right? Or you want, I leave it to you. You may just get them to complete everything, right? But I think asking something, you can make a bit more fun, right, with that. Okay, so then do 1 question with them. Question 6. In fact, just like we already explained. So now you ask them, is this a multiplication or division question? Most of them will say division because it's a division topic, right? But ask them why. Why is it division? Then they must say, oh, I see it says here you use an equal number of eggs, and then for each cake, and then so question is, each cake has how many eggs or uses how many eggs? Okay, so this is important for them to identify. I would say maybe do a few more questions. 11. Some do not know what a dozen is, right? A dozen means 12. Okay, so you make 6 omelets with the eggs. he uses an equal number of eggs for each omelette. How many eggs does Joel use for each? Right? So the greater number divided by the small number. For the time being, P3, right? They for division is always the greater number divided by the smaller number. Right? So as long as they identify that this is a division question, equal number each omelette, they know that this is division. So it's using 12 divided by 6. Okay, and emphasize on writing the answer here, because is it 6? Is it 2? The answer is it 2 omelette or is it 2 eggs? Right? So they need to know. They need to answer this carefully. Okay. And then after that, I would skip a few questions. Okay, I would like them to do question 6. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's fine, right? The rest I would get them to do. Perhaps let's go to. We'll just do one last question so they understand how this works. Right? Go to page 24. Question D. Right? 36 divided by star equals star. What is star? So here it means question mark, right? So 36 divided by this number equals to the same number. So then they have to think about it, right? Which number multiplied by that same number will give you 36. Okay, so they can use multiplication to help them. So the answer is 6 times 6 equals 36. All right, okay, so now let's move on to book 2. Book 2 is 7 multiplication by 7. In fact, there's really little much to teach except that you tell them that, well, 7 multiplication here we are dealing with, it's the same thing, right? So go through grouping again. In fact, yeah, I think and once you understand the grouping, right, there's really little teaching to do, right? So I think same thing here. I would say skip a lot of all these kind of question. 7 more or 7 less, right? So it's basically 1 group more, 1 group less. So 5 times 7, 5 groups of 7, right? Do the guided, focus on the guided practice instead, right? Get into it. 5 times 7, 8. What is 8 times 7? Right? 8 times 7 is, so this is breaking up, right? Why? Because if they cannot remember what is 8 times 7, right? As long as they remember 5 times 7 equals 35, right? So 5 times 7 is 5 groups of 7. 8 times 7, you just need another 3 more groups, right? 5 plus 3 equals 8. So 3 groups of 7, so 21, right? So it's just to teach them this kind of a differential, or they can just plus 7, plus 7, plus 7, and then they can get the answer. Okay, so I foresee that some of them may have problem filling in all these blanks. So let's do this in class with them, right? Make sure that they do it correctly, right? What is 8 times, this is another one. Okay, what is 8 times 7? So 10 times 7 equals 70, right? 8 times 7 would be 2 groups less. So 2 groups of 7 is 14. So 70 minus 14 equals 56. It's a bit complex, right? But just to get them to understand, I think it's important to do this question so that they understand the concept of division, right, in terms of grouping as well. Okay, and then we'll, just finish the, okay, and then this one I think they should know, right? So yeah, finish the guided practice, and then I think we are actually good to go. Okay, question 6 is interesting to do, right? Below is a page from a calendar. Part of the page has been torn. So Ratna's birthday is on the 14th of May. On which day of the week is Ratna's birthday? Right, so there are 7 days in a week, so we can count by 7s. Okay, so might want to teach this. So let me see, 14 May. So you can actually count. Wait, let me see, 14 May. So these will be in groups of 7. It will be 6, 13, 20, and so on. Okay. Let's see what else. I think the rest are multiplication question they should know. In fact, we're going to skip some of these, perhaps. Okay. I would like you to do one question this year, question 16. Why? Because here it deals with money. So when they write equation, right, remind them, please do not write 7 times 9. They have to write 7 times $9. Right? 7 boxes. Right? Each is $9. So make sure that they do that. Okay, and then the statement. Right, and I think that's it. Okay, now the rest, the last one will be division. Okay, so division, same thing. We can actually skip a lot of these questions here. So now they know it's about putting the bigger number into or rather the quantity of the things into the respective groups, the equal groups. Okay, so do guided practice with them. All right, and then yeah, once guided practice is done, yeah, do check because we alternate between multiplication and division. Make sure that they get it correct. So it's good actually do multiplication and division in the same class, because then that way, you know, you will make them alert, right? What's the difference between the multiplication and the division word problem? Okay, then go to page 4. You can test them, pick a few questions for them to do. So this is using multiplication concept. They are still learned to multiplication of 7, so that may take a while, right? But yeah, use it an opportunity for them to revise the multiplication 7. And I think that's it, because you can see the format is a bit similar, division and multiplication of 6. Okay, whatever time that you have in class, right, you can actually spend on getting them to learn multiplications of, or rather the 7 times table, because that will help them with the division as well. That's it for the that's it for this week's lesson.